Good evening. Welcome back to Me Being Cheap. Tonight's video may not be so much about saving money. Uh, it's more has to do with what I believe is a better option. It could save you money in the long run, but it does require a large investment up front. So tonight we're going to talk about purchasing your meat in bulk, and more specifically, purchasing from a local farmer who then takes the animal to a local meat locker and has it processed. So this is something I feel passionate about. I live in a state where if we drive maybe 4 hours in a certain direction, there are these huge feed lots. They smell horrible. When you fly over them in a small airplane, you can smell the stench up in the air. You can smell it for miles around. It's just very dirty. And the thought of eating the meat that comes from these large feedlots, I don't feel very good about that. And I've seen videos about, and, and I'm sure some places are fine, but I've seen videos of maybe some of the meat plants. I don't know. I'm sure most of them are fine. They have to pass inspection, but my preference is to buy meat local. So tonight I'm going to tell you about my recent experience buying a whole hog. I upgraded. I used to buy only half a hog a year, but as my children have gotten bigger, I've got boys, their appetites have picked up, and I found that this past year I actually ran out of pork. So this year I upgraded to a whole hog. So I know that this may not be an option for many of you, especially if you are on a very tight budget. And also due to storage. I do have extra freezers, so I do have extra freezer space. So some options to work around that if this is something you may be interested in. You may sign up to maybe only buy a quarter of a hog or beef or whatever type of animal it is that you're trying to buy. Or split your portion with a neighbor. So let me pull out my whiteboard and I will tell you what this looks like. So I bought a whole hog, and the actual meat that was in packages was 214 pounds. Now the initial hog, while it's still alive, weighs a lot more. But this is what I ended up with, is 214 pounds of meat. This included hams, bacon, sausage, roast, ribs, chops, and I'm sure there were some other cuts in there too. But altogether, it worked out to be an average of about $2.25 per pound. Now, I have not bought meat, specifically pork, at a grocery store in a very long time. I did have to pick up some bacon because I ran out, and I know that the bacon was over $4 a pound. So I'm guessing some of the cheaper cuts, maybe they're not that much, but overall the average was $2.25. I feel that that's a very fair, a very good price. I've already had some of the sausage, some of the pork chops. They were both wonderful. I like to know that the pig that I bought came about 2 miles down the road. I know the farmer that raised it. He treats his animals well. You can drive by, you can see that the animals are not living in filthy, dirty, crowded, stinky conditions. They're not crowded into feedlots. They get to go around and forage, so they're happier. I think the meat is better quality. And so I'm supporting a local farmer, but I also support the local meat locker, which is family owned. And in addition to that, the meat was nicely packaged. It was shrink wrapped in some plastic. I am environmental, but I do realize that meat has to be packaged such that it could last the whole year in the freezer. So wrapping it in paper sometimes isn't always an option. But I know that a lot of times when you buy the meat from the grocery store, it's actually on a styrofoam tray and then has like an absorbent pad that's plastic coated on top. And those are two things that you can't recycle. And the little plastic thing is not very easily washed up, so if you throw it in your trash can, it's stinking until you take the trash out. So just looking at my notes, So yeah, so the farmer delivered it to me. He helped carry it in my house, and minimal package. Way to go. So 214 pounds, $2.25 a pound. So this investment at one time was $480. Now I know a lot of people don't have that type of money to make that large purchase initially. Again, some other options, maybe only buy half or a quarter of a hog, or split your share with a neighbor. So I want to do a little bit of math about how we have to consume this meat in order to eat it over the course of a year. So if we take 214 pounds and divide that by 365 days in the year, that works out to be about 0.58 or about 0.6, so a little over half a pound that needs to be consumed per day. There's 3 of us and a potential for 3 meals, just depending on what day of the week it is. And again, a lot of this is breakfast food, like the sausage and the bacon. So I'm sure a lot of that will be consumed at breakfast time. Anyhow, thank you for watching. I hope you consider getting locally sourced meats. I think it's better for you. I think it's better for the environment, and I think it's better for the animals. At least I know my hog that's now in my freezer, he grew up 2 miles down the road. He had a short trip to Meat Locker and then to my house. He did not spend days on a truck. He did not spend days sitting on a shelf in a grocery store. So I feel better about it. And I do think this is a decent price. All right. Take care. Have a wonderful evening. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. Feel free to share, like, or leave a comment. Good night.